OK, guys, I mean, there really is only one place to start. It's at the Etihad. Manchester City beats, of course, title rivals Arsenal 2-1. Only Haaland and Gabriel at the heart of all the major talking points, very much in the build-up as well, this battle between these two. Look, there was a coming together between the pair. It was in the final 10 minutes, Dermot. They've been battling all afternoon. It was to be expected, but it looked as though it had reached a boiling point. They were both booked, but should Gabriel have seen red, Dermot?
I think it was a very fair outcome, to be honest, Hayley. I think both of them are aggressive, both of them, the whole game, it just epitomised what was at stake. I think Gabriel was very unwise to what he does. It's not the cleverest thing to do. He runs a massive risk. But if you look, he actually goes down the front of him. He doesn't go through him, doesn't headbutt him. What I will say, though, he's very, very lucky that Haaland was very responsible, because I think if he hits the deck, the whole landscape changes. The referee's got a different decision to deal with.
Yeah, first of all, I want to start by saying I really enjoyed watching this game. Anthony Taylor let the game flow. He didn't want to make it about him. He wanted to make it about the quality of the football match. And I want to say that. And I think most people would say they really enjoyed that, because it was just flowing back and forth. But Gabriel was lucky there. Gabriel was lucky. And when we look at the rules, is violent conduct. If you put your head into someone's face, that was violent conduct. And we've seen other people get sent off for that kind of movement towards someone's head. Again, what Haaland said is absolutely right. If he goes down holding his face there, Gabriel's going to get a red card, and then it's 3 matches he's banned for. So he is lucky. Credit to Haaland, but because he didn't go down. And I'm glad that the referee let 11 players stay on the pitch. But again, by the letter of the law, that is violent conduct, and he should have been given a red card.
Yeah, well, look, the Premier League Match Centre, let's just go over this, said the referee's call of no red card was checked and confirmed by VAR, with the action from Gabriel deemed not to be excessively aggressive or violent.
That's my thing there, like the terminology, again. Like, if Haaland doesn't move his head away, then it is excessive. So the movement in itself is not excessive because he doesn't hit him with it. And I think that's the fortunate thing. I think anytime you put your head in someone's face, I think that's excessive. I think that should have been given as a red card, because it's violent conduct.
Look, we saw Lisandro Martinez sent off.
Dermot's rolling his eyes.
Look, we'll come back in just a moment, but we want to stay with you, Jay, because you want to compare incidents with Martinez sent off for violent conduct for that hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
I don't even think that was a hair pull.
Last Monday, OK. But look, when you compare the incidents, does that sit right with you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, a headbutt is more violent than a hair pull. Now, I know the hair pull is personal, but I don't even think he intentionally pulled his hair. I think he got his hand tangled up in his hair. But to me, a hair pull is if you physically grab someone's hair. I don't think he did that.
Can I just point out, Hayley?
Yes.
We started off saying what a brilliant game it was. You started off because I primed you about how brilliantly it was refereed.
Prime me.
Now we're suddenly talking about an incident on Wednesday, which has no comparison.
I got to ask the question.
Has no comparison.
I got to ask the question, though.
Let me finish, please. I patiently let you finish. Has no comparison to that. In no way, shape or form was it violent conduct, because he didn't headbutt him.
But the action was violent. If he headbutts him, then does he get a red card?
But he didn't.
Yeah, but if he does,
I'm dealing with what happened.
So okay, so now you're saying to me, if I go to headbutt someone but I miss, it's not violent.
No. What I'm saying to you,
if I go to punch someone and I miss, is that violent?
What I'm saying to you is the referee can send off for an act of violent conduct.
Yeah.
In my opinion, which I am entitled to,
of course,
I don't think that's violent conduct. But I do find it alarming that you praise the referee for having such a good game, which I think he does, and suddenly we have Wednesday's incident thrown at us.
I got to ask a question, Debs.
I'm just pointing out that let's deal with what happened yesterday.
OK.
Hayley, don't ask me them kind of questions again, please.
OK, sorry. I mean, it's Haaland's reaction. That's pretty much saved him, hasn't it? He said as much in his post-match interview after the game. He said, you know, I'm not going to go down.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that. I hate it when I see, players getting flicked in the face and then they go down holding their face like they've been, punched. I don't like that. I like this from Haaland. I think this is honesty. He hasn't hit him hard. He's brushed his face, but again, I think Haaland's right. If Haaland goes down, I think most people would agree with that. If he goes down holding his face, Gabriel would definitely get a red card there.
Mm. Putting it into context, look, winning a title means very fine margins. Could have been sent off for 3 Premier League games, couldn't he? Banned for 3, so missing Newcastle at home, Fulham at home, West Ham away. Potentially a big mistake for the referee and the VAR to make.
Well, I don't think it's a mistake. I still go back to I don't think it's a mistake. Ifs, buts and maybes, isn't it? You think it's a mistake?
What's that?
You think it's a red card?
Yeah, I do think that's a red card. Listen, I said Anthony Taylor, I think overall had a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. But you can still make mistakes and have a great game. And I think that's just what's happened there. And to be honest, I think he just wanted to keep 11 players on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's understandable with the magnitude of the game.
Yeah. Let's go back to praising Anthony Taylor and keeping that momentum and showing how it was illustrated. Look, back and forth before that incident with these two. It was kind of almost old school between the pair as well, wasn't it? There was a great moment between them. Look, they tussled for the ball again. Dermot, how well did Taylor do not to put a halt on it? Look, he just let their battles flow, didn't he? And that's kind of what you were saying we have to highlight.
Yeah, I think the other thing, Hayley, is he'd obviously set out with this mindset that I want the game to be about the players, not about me. I want the game to finish and people talking about what a great game it is, rather than talking about him and the decisions he made. And I got the feeling that the players respected how he refereed, enjoyed how he refereed, and rose to the occasion because of it. And nobody took advantage. They got on with it. There was battles like that. Neither of them made a big thing of this. They're both tussling, they're both grappling at each other. It was brilliant to watch. It was fantastic. And I think the only mistake he made was blowing too early, because I could have done with another half hour.
Yeah,
it was just so
true.
good to watch.
That is true. Look, Jay, you flagged this one. We're going to bring this up. We've got Abdulkadir Kuznov potentially denying Kai Havertz a clear route to goal. Talk us through this.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it here, obviously it's a very good pass there. Havertz is ahead of Kuznov. And because he's ahead of him, Kuznov ends up running into the back of him, which knocks Havertz over. And that's why, I mean, that is a goal-scoring opportunity. And I think if he gives that foul, then it is a red card. Again, I think that he wanted to keep 11 players on the pitch. But I think that was another mistake. I think he made 2 mistakes in the game, and I think that was both of them. I definitely think Havertz would have controlled that, and he probably would have had a shot. But because Kuznov ran into the back of him and the angle where he's coming from, it doesn't go shoulder to shoulder. I think if he goes shoulder to shoulder, then it's a different conversation. But because he comes from behind and hits him in the back is why I would say it should have been a straight red.
Do you agree with Jay at all?
Well, the referee, watch the referee, don't watch the incident, watch the referee now, just waves it, he doesn't think it's foul. So the minute he doesn't think it's foul,
I know.
There's no action.
But I think, again, I know you don't like me saying these kind of things, Derms, but if that happens anywhere else on the pitch, I think even in another game with different magnitude, I think that's going to be a foul. And the fact that he said that's not even a foul, I think that would be anywhere else on the pitch. I think that, again, he wants the game to flow. The magnitude of the game is high, tensions are high. It is a physical game because that's the way, it's going. But I can't help but think that that is a red card, and I think he's got that one wrong.
I think it's a red card if he penalises, but as I said, if you watch the referee, he doesn't give a foul.
Would you give a foul for that?
I didn't. I said to you earlier, I didn't think it was a foul.
Okay.
I think they're near enough side by side. I get it that he's got slightly ahead of him, but I don't think he's far enough. It's not as if he's gone in the back of him. I think they're very, very tight together.
Yeah.
That's why I think Anthony said the same. He's like, you see him straight away, he waves away, and that's the difference. The minute he waves away, I agree with you 100%. If he whistles, he's going. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
OK, look, finally on this one, VAR checked potential handball on Gabriel in the first half. Look, both happy with the on-field decision here, Dermot?
I thought it was too high up anyhow. His arms are tucked into his side.
Yeah.
He leans into it, but you see there, it's right up the top of his sleeve.
Yeah, I think that was a correct decision as well. He's leaned down, he's leaned in towards the ball, but it's definitely hit him on his shoulder. And obviously the ruling is if it's above your sleeve line, it's not handball. So you can clearly see that's above the sleeve line. And it's the right decision.
Right. We'll end that one there. We're going to move on. Stuart Atwell was in charge of Tottenham's game, denied a massive 3 points in their bid for survival after being paid back twice by Brighton. Xavi Simons produced goal of the season contender with a celebration to match, but should he have been sent off for it? That's because, look, he took his shirt off, jumped into the crowd after that. Dermot, it was something a lot of fans on the forums were asking as well. Was he lucky?
He's committed 2 offences, but they're the same, aren't they? His shirt's over celebration of goal. That is over celebration of goal. The directives to referees is try not to penalise twice for 1 offence. So I think the referee's been very sensible there. He's penalised 1 offence. What I would say, could you imagine if the referee did give him a second yellow card? I think there'll be a lot more kickback this morning than there is now.
Derms, you said try there. You used the word try, but if you separated them incidents, they're both yellow cards, right?
They are.
Yeah.
In isolation.
Yeah, in isolation.
But they were together, weren't they? And that's what they've asked referees to do, is try not to penalise twice for 1 offence.
So would that fall under common sense?
It falls under the directive of try not to penalise twice for 1 offence, because the offence he's committed is over celebrating, isn't it? So he gets the yellow card.
So, I mean, listen, I'm coming off the subject now, but just for example, what would then be, when you say try not to, when do you penalise someone for the same event?
He takes his shirt off and scores to make it 2-1. They go back and kick off. He jumps into the crowd after making it 3-1. He's committed the same offence, but on 2 different occasions.
Okay.
So I think because it's all interlinked, isn't it? And once it's interlinked, there would be so much more. Can you imagine we're sat here going, wow.
I mean, let me just say, for example, I don't think he should get a red card for that. Again, it's a massive game. He scored a great goal, you know, and obviously, if you send him off for that, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be more of a discussion for us this morning had he have done that. So there we go. OK, look, do you think the time has come for this law to be changed? In fact, a player can be sent off for celebrating an incredible moment?
He would be sent off if it had a previous yellow card, wouldn't he? So the argument would be, well, why does he need to do it? He knows he's on a yellow card. I get it. I get what people say about the emotion. I've played football. It's massive, isn't it? They've suddenly gone 2-1 ahead. It looks like they may pick up 3 points. It's everything about it. But luckily, he wasn't on a yellow card, was he?
I mean, to me, that is a rule that should be changed. I think that's absolute rubbish. That, you know, you're jubilant. It's a massive game. You know, you're not even thinking about like, I can't run into the crowd, or you're just reacting to what you've scored a great goal. They are where they are in the league. That will need to be changed. And I think what's even worse as well is when managers celebrate with their team. Like, again, like when we see like Mourinho run down the line, or whoever it may be, how can you penalise the manager for running down the line? He's still on the pitch, he's part of a game. He's run down the line to celebrate with his team, and he gets a yellow card, or a second yellow, which means he gets a red and he goes into the side. That is absolute rubbish. I'm sorry, it is, because when you want to see celebrations from players.
Because it takes a while to celebrate with VAR, as it is already delays in that, doesn't it?
Soon we're going to get it where, you know what, let's not even celebrate, because we don't know if it's going to be a goal or not. It just takes the emotion out of football, and that's what I think football's all about. That's why we love football, because it's full of emotions. You see ups, you see downs, you see pressure moments. That there, he's just jubilant. He scored a great goal. If he got a second yellow there, it's crazy.
Look.
I'm sorry, damn, it's crazy.
I agree with it.
It's crazy. Do you know what I think? A lot of these, again, Derms, you played, but I think a lot of these people that make rules like this haven't played. They don't know what it's like to score in front of thousands of people. You know, so they can make it from the sidelines, but they don't actually understand what goes through a player's head, which is, I just want to celebrate. I'm so happy with what I've done. My team's winning.
OK. Look, quickly, finally, there was a call for a Spurs penalty in the first half. Let's show you this. And Kuba Minte on Destiny Udogie. Look, happy with the on-field decision here, Dermot?
I think the only certainty is the VAR is not getting involved, because whatever the referee gives, he's going to forward him as tangle. They felt he was going down early. I think if the referee gives a penalty, VAR is still going to uphold it, but it's on-field call.
Derms, we're disagreeing a lot today. That is a definite penalty. That's definite penalty. We've seen that. If that happens in the middle of the pitch, you're given a foul. That is a definite penalty. He's done what he's meant to do. He's got his body there, and there's contact. From when there's contact, any contact, and he goes down, it is a penalty. It is a free kick. I don't understand why this is not given. And we see that a lot. We've seen these kind of ones a lot, and we say good play from the forward or good play from the wing, whoever it may be. He's got his body across there. Obviously, Minte has gone into the back of him, unintentionally, but he has gone into the back of him. And once he goes into the back of him, it is a penalty. There's contact there.
Would you expect the VAR to go in?
Pardon?
Would you expect the VAR to overrule him?
Yeah. Yeah, I really do.
I just feel whatever the referee gives on the field there, the VAR will back him.
But you shouldn't. They shouldn't. They should uphold and say, listen, you're wrong. There is contact. He's got his body across across Minte. Because of that contact, he's gone down, which means it should be a penalty. That's what VAR are there for. They're not there to agree with the referee. They're there to say, you know, you may have made a mistake here. Go and check it at the very least, no?
They're there to say, has he made a clear and obvious error?
And that's clear and obvious.
To you.
Okay.
But it wasn't to them, was it? They felt he was going down early.
I mean, this is the thing. Like, my question then is, have they played? Because I think most of the people that would be in there would say that is because there's contact. You get told from an early age, get your body across the defender, because if he touches you, it's going to be a penalty or it's going to be a free kick. That's exactly what's happened there, and they haven't given it.
We'll get you down Stockley Park soon enough. I promise you, Jay. You can see what it's like through their eyes. OK. Oh, we're going to be taking you to the Merseyside derby next, having a look at the decision that David Moyes did not agree with. We'll have that next.
Arsenal, by contrast, funny enough, shook it up a bit today, partly because they had to, but made the call to play Havertz up top, had Martin Ødegaard back, and obviously Zubimendi and Rice have done a lot of hard running kind of by themselves in those midfield positions, and it freshened up. And the impression I got from sitting next to you for 2 hours was that you enjoyed basically what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, ordinarily when you highlight sort of two Manchester City central midfield players in Rodri and Bernardo Silva, I'm just thinking actually in the second half, what Rice and Zubimendi, or Rice and Ødegaard didn't do as much was press onto them. If you remember in Arsenal having quite a bit of joy in that sort of area over there in the first half was when they really pressed high onto Rodri and Bernardo Silva and stopped them playing. In the second half, they started to get on top, obviously, Rodri and Bernardo Silva, and Rice and Zubimendi couldn't get up the pitch as much, and that's just a legs thing, I think, because City just wear you down. One thing that couldn't happen here today from an Arsenal perspective is two things. One, they couldn't come here and freeze. They didn't. Secondly, they couldn't come here with a team that was glass half empty. And Mikel Arteta didn't. I think everything he did today was positive and with intent to win the game. So I don't think Arsenal fans can drive back to London tonight or get on the coach or however they get back to London on the train and think to myself, oh, my manager, he could have done that. He should have done this. He had Eze and Madueke out there from the start. He had Ødegaard on with Havertz. I thought Havertz did a good job in the game. I mean, if he'd have scored that late on, it would have been the perfect away performance. They were hampered enormously, Arsenal, today by the fullbacks. And I thought actually they did a good job, Hincapié and Mosquera. They really stuck to their task. But they're limited on the ball. So if you think about Nunez and Nico O'Reilly for City, or how Timber and Calafiori or others are for Arsenal, you just blocked off. You haven't got that, what would be that subtlety on the ball, or that even ability, that safe, consistent and reliable ability to feed the ball in. You know, good touches and passes and getting it into your front players and into your midfield players. Because they're centre-backs, effectively. They're centre-backs. They're not full-backs. So I thought they stuck to the task really well, the two full-backs for Arsenal. But you lose a lot when you lose Timber. You lose a lot. He's a bit of a powerhouse going forward. He links really well. And I'm not mentioning Saka because every player can get an injury. So Madueke's there, Martinelli's there. You can't sort of whinge about Saka. But I think losing both their fullbacks just would have cost them a little bit today in terms of on the ball and being able to get forward. But I thought Arsenal today lost the game because you can lose here. Because you can play well and do okay in the game and lose here. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta will point towards the chances. Eze's one where he hits the post, the Havertz chance at the end. They had really good moments and they've not taken them. And the Havertz chance towards the end is a big moment. The one mistake, and I was going to mention it earlier, on the goal where Manchester City counter-attack, what Arsenal did brilliant in the first half was they all pushed up together when Manchester City had the ball deep with Donnarumma or the centre-backs. And then when they actually sort of countered, they all got back really quickly and sunk in. I don't know what went wrong because it happened quite quickly, but Donnarumma plays a ball for the goal, Peter. I think he throws it, doesn't he? And it goes in between, I think, maybe Martinelli and Havertz, on this side. And all of a sudden, there's like acres of space. Why? I'm sure Jamie Carragher will tell us tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. But that shouldn't happen. You know something's gone fundamentally wrong when you've basically got a goalkeeper that's playing the ball against Manchester City. So either the back four haven't pushed in and made it all compact high up the pitch with the forward players, or the forward players have gone too high. I would say probably the midfield players and the back players haven't pushed in. Because in the first half, if you remember, Gabriel was pressing on the edge of the 18-yard box at one point. So Arsenal's fatigue maybe and City wearing them out means that they've just probably just not done the full press like they were in the first half in that moment. So half of them have gone and half of them have stayed back, and that's when you get big gaps from front to back. So that was the mistake I think they made on the goal where they counter-attack, and obviously then Haaland gets that goal at the end. So just that was a disappointing one because they really did work that defensively well, where they either went full press or they all came back and defended deep. They got stuck in between half and half, and I'm sure Jamie Carragher will look at that for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about cup half full, cup half empty and all of that sort of stuff. Talk to me about the man management job that Mikel Arteta's got now, because a month ago there was talk of the quadruple. Now you wouldn't be human as an Arsenal fan or player if you thought, we might end up winning nothing here. And how do you get in into the minds of the players? Because equally they might be European champions and English champions in a month and a half from now. You know, there really is a cup half full or two cups full or nothing.
If I was Mikel, I mean, I'm absolutely certain Mikel Arteta will be saying to them in there now, I'm proud of you. If you perform to that standard for the next 7 games, you'll be in a European Cup final. And you've got a great chance of winning the league because you'll score a lot of goals and you'll win a lot of games. If Manchester City drop 1 point, we're in. 2 points, we're in if they draw. So I'm sure he'll be reiterating the message of, that's the level I need you to be at. Now, what Mikel Arteta is going to have to do in this next few weeks is make sure he picks that team. And with that level of intent, I think it's really important now that Arsenal play. I mean, next Saturday night, the game, Arsenal v Newcastle, I'm doing it, you're doing it for NBC, I'm doing it for Sky. It's a huge game. It's a huge game because that really is the game. They cannot afford to drop anything. They have to win next Saturday night. I'm not saying they have to go and win 2 or 3-0, but that'll help with goal difference. And you have to think about that. But they just have to come off that field with 3 points. And that will then, I think, set them up nicely in terms of being able to go. They can still look forward to this running. And I think Mikel Arteta will be saying that. He's just doing his interview here now. We can look forward to this running. That was a good performance today, and we could have got a point out of that game easily. Play like that and that standard in every game till the end of the season, and we'll win a trophy. I think he'll be saying that.
Before we come on to the rest of the season, just 1 or 2 issues within the game. The Gabriel Haaland head-to-head. What's your reflections now? I saw you talking to Mike Dean before he disappeared.
Yeah, Mike actually, to be fair, said that he thought it was. I think he's discussed it with a few of his colleagues, and I think he said it was a red in the end. Look,
it matters less because Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Gabriel scores late on, City be absolutely furious. What ordinarily happens is, and I got done. I think it was actually with Steve McManaman in the Manchester derby. It was back in 2003, 20 odd years ago. you can put your head against each other, that's fine. You might get a yellow each. The minute you do that, the minute you do this, it's a red. It's just usually a red. I mean, that was the surprise from Anthony Taylor, that he treated them both the same. And I think he puts his head down as well. Now, Haaland does brilliantly well. He doesn't react. He could have gone like this and put his head to his face, and I think he'd have been gone straight away, Gabriel. Out off the pitch within a second. I don't want to see players sent off, but he's lucky there, Gabriel, I think. It's not ended up counting for anything, but I think Pep Guardiola would have had a real noise up and whinge, and with some justification, I think, if obviously Gabriel had scored late on or City had conceded a goal, I think he'd been annoyed.
And I just want to ask you too, because I